This is R.D. Sharma Solution Class 12 Chapter 18. We are taking Maxima and Minima exercises 18.2. fx is equal to sine 2x. We are talking about 0 and pi interval. 0 and pi means what? It is 0 and pi. Pi is 180 degrees. So the interval is given like this. Now this is very important, you will know just now. Sine 2x, the first thing what we do here is f dash x, that is the differentiation of sine 2x. So this will be cos 2x, differentiation of 2x will be 2. It will be 2 cos 2x. Now this 2 cos 2x has to be equal to 0. We put it at 0. 2 cannot be 0, so cos 2x has to be 0. Now you know what are the values of 2x for, or cos theta for this cos theta to be 0. Cos pi by 2 is equal to 0. Cos 0 is 1, cos pi by 2 equal to 0. So 2x has to be pi by this. See, there is pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2. Why I am talking like this? Because it is between 0 and pi. So we have to take this 3 pi by 2, you'll just know. When you divide it by 2, what will be the value? I'm dividing both sides by 2. It will be pi by 4 and 3 pi by 4. And you'll see that pi by 4 and 3 pi by 4 are actually in between 0 and pi. So we have to take both of these values. We have this 45 degree and 270 degree. 3 pi by 2 is 270 degrees. So when we multiply pi, when we do pi minus pi by 4, we are going to get that angle, and it is basically 180 minus 45 degree, that will give you 135 degree. So we are talking about 45 degree and 135 degree. 45 is pi by 4 and 135 is 3 pi by 4. This is x. Now you see here, I am just placing it on the number line. This is pi by 4, this is 3 pi by 4, and we go from negative infinity to positive infinity for the number line. Okay, now you know what we have to do. Now any value which is lower than pi by 4, so you can just put 0 also. See, 2 cannot be 0. We are talking just about the sign here. Cos 2x, if you put 0, cos 0 is what? It's 1. So you are going to get a positive value if you take a value which is lower than pi by 4. How about taking the value which is between pi by 4 and 3 pi by 4? So this is cos 2, any value between 45 degree and 135 degree. You can put 90 degree also. So cos 2 into pi by 2, cos 2 into 90 degree, cos 2 into 90 degree, what you are going to, but cos 2 into 90 degree is cos 180 degree. What is cos 180 degree? You are going to get a negative value. Cos 0 is 1, cos 180 is minus 1. So you are going to get a negative value here, and you have to take the value which is higher than 3 pi by 4 also. So I told you between 45 degree and 135 degree, if we take a value which is say 90 degree, so you got a negative value here, but over 3 pi by 4, again, because you are talking about 135 degree. So you can take say 180 degree, because these angles 0, 30, 60, 90, 120, 180, these are the values, known values. We learned it by heart. So you get a negative in between. Any value which is higher than 3 pi by 4, you're going to get a positive value. So when you go from positive to negative, this is, you're going from higher point to lower point. That means you were at higher point at one point, at this point. That means you're going from plus to minus. So this is the point of maxima. Pi by 4 is the point of local maxima. How about this one? Just find out the value also. Sine in 2 into pi by 4. So sine pi by 2. And as I told you, that side pi by 4, pi by 2 is 1. Pi by 4 maxima value y equals to fx. The value at x 3 pi by 4, the value of y is 1. Coming to negative to positive, when you go from lower part to upper part, that means you are at the local minima. So this local minima 135 degree 3 pi by 4. And what is the value? See, y equals to fx. So you have to put this x in place of 3 pi by 4 and try to find out the value of y. Sine into 2 into 3 pi by 4. The 2 goes here. Sine 3 pi by 2, sine 270 degree. And you know that this is just opposite to the above. This is pi by 2 opposite. So if it is positive, the opposite will be negative. So you're going to get the value of negative 1. So the maxima value is negative 1, positive 1. The minima value is negative 1. So what I expressed is written here. Now you can just follow this and try to write it like this. Sin x minus cos x between 0 and 2 pi. So this is the 0 to 180 degree we are talking about. 2 pi is 180 degree. 2 pi is 360 degree. 0 to pi we have just seen. 0 to pi is 180 degree. 0 to 2 pi is 360 degree. So you are going to go all the way as a circle. Now let us differentiate this. Sin x minus cos x. Sin x differentiation will be cos x. Cos x differentiation will be minus sin x. So sin x plus cos x is equal to 0. And all those things I have done in the one line. First, differentiation. Second, equal to 0. Now, when it is equal to 0, sin x is equal to negative cos x. Let us divide both sides by cos x. We are going to get tan x is equal to -1. This 10x equals to -1. What is the value of x for which you get -1? Let me write the value, because you know the value of where 10x is going to be negative. Tell me, or add sugar to coffee. So only the second quadrant and fourth quadrant you are going to get it as negative. First and third quadrant you are going to get 10x as positive. So we have this 3 pi by 4 and 7 pi by 4. You already know how we arrived here, because 10x equals to 1 will be pi by 4. So just subtract it with pi minus pi by 4. Again 10x is -1 at one more point. You have to tell me which point. That is 7 pi by 4. How did it come? That's a question you have to answer me. But let me tell you, this 3 pi by 4 has come from pi minus pi by 4. And again you can subtract 2 pi, that is 2 pi minus certain value will give you 7 pi by 4. You have to tell me what value I am asking about. Anyways, we have two values here. See, I'm drawing the line also for your idea. So we have this 3 pi by 4 lower value, you can just place, you will get a positive. Between 3 pi by 4 and 7 pi by 4, you are going to get negative. Above 7 pi by 4, you are going to get a positive value. All this value is very known to you. You have learned trigonometry, and these are the values you have to place in x. I'm talking about, you can just place sin x plus cos x. Any value in sin x plus cos x will give you these values, positive, negative. You just have to talk about the negative, positive here. So 3 pi by 4 will give you a maxima value, and 7 pi by 4 will give you a minima value, because you are going from plus to minus and minus to plus. And what will be the value? Just put x as 3 pi by 4 in cos x minus cos x plus sin x. So I'm writing it here. Now you see that when we place this value, that is, the sign has come from sin x plus cos x, but the value will come from sin x minus cos x. That is why sin 3 pi by 4 minus cos 3 by 4, likewise 7 pi by 4 and 7 pi by 4. You know the value of cos 30 degree, you know the value of sin 45 degree. If you don't know, you have to go back and learn it, because these are the values which are going to come again and again. Every time, most of the question will contain these values. These values have to be learned by heart. So root 2 will come for maxima 3 pi by 4, and negative root 2 will come for minima 7 pi by 4. And how are you going to write about this? This is the whole scenario which I placed in front of you, and language is very important what you write. So we have just seen the sin x example, a question. Now we are talking about cos x. We are differentiating it, f dash x. Cos x will be minus sin x, and just place it equal to 0. Minus sin x is equal to 0. Now this minus is very important. If you place minus sin x equals to 0, you can multiply both sides by negative in order to eliminate this negative, because this negative will create some issue in solving. So I'm multiplying both sides by negative. There is no inequality, that's why it will not affect. Now this sin x equals to 0, this is 0 to pi, because the range is already given 0 to pi. Sin 0 is 0, sin pi is also 0. Actually sin n pi is equal to 0. Right. Now sin x equals 0, we got the value 0 and pi. So sin 0 is 0, sin pi is 0, that means there is no increment or decrement, there is no change. I'm saying that if x is between 0 and pi, and you have started with sin 0 which is 0, sin pi is again 0, that means you're not going to change any sign. And when there is no change in sign, if it is negative, negative, it is positive, positive on the number line, then you're going to get point of inflection. So there is no point, you won't get any increment or decrement, no increasing, no decreasing, no plus, no minus. There will be minus, minus or plus, plus. The least you can do is just to show it here, 0 and pi, and just put certain value which is lower than 0, between 0 and pi to infinity, and you'll see there will be no change. So let me reiterate, when x is between 0 and pi, between this 0 and pi interval, there will be no value which can govern us, that is going to be maxima or minima. So when there is no maxima minima, you will see that there will be no value also, because every time when we find maxima minima points, critical points, we generally find out the value y equal to fx by putting it in the cos x. So add sugar to coffee, the 0 add sugar means 0 to pi, the values will be positive only, because first quadrant and second quadrant, they are positive. So there is no minima maxima, we just have to write what I have told you. Next is sin x minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So 90 and negative 90, what does it mean? See, whenever you have negative, that means it will be the mirror opposite of the other number which is positive. So if pi by 2 is what I have indicated, negative pi by 2 will be just mirror opposite, will be below that. If you know trigonometry quite a lot, then you understand this, why I have written as minus. I have differentiated it equal to 0. So cos 2x has come as half. We differentiated it and equal to 0 we have. Cos 2x equals to half. Now you tell me what is the value of 2x for which we get half. The value is half. Cos 60 degree is going to be half. What is the 60 value? It's pi by 3. Again understand, cos minus theta is plus cos theta. That is, if you place a negative value inside cos, it is going to give you a positive value only. So 2x is pi by 3, or it can be minus pi by 3. Alright, both, because we are talking about pi by 2 to minus pi by 2. So you have to include this negative pi by 3 also, because the interval is given like that. If the interval would have been 0 to pi by 2, then we would have taken some other approach. But since negative pi by 2 and pi by 2 is already given, so we have to take pi by 3, negative pi by 3. So 2x is this, so x will be pi by 6 and negative pi by 6. When x is pi by 6 and negative pi by 6, we'll make a number line. See, this is minus pi by 6, this is pi by 6, and this is 30 degree, this is minus 30 degree. 0 will be somewhere in between. We don't have to worry about 0. I'm just saying that because we want the sign also. So any value which is less than minus pi by 6, any value which is higher than pi by 6, and any value between minus pi by 6 and pi by 6, which eventually will take it as 0. These cos 0 is 1. So positive value will come. And I told you cos any value which is lower than negative pi by 6 will be negative, and any value which is higher than pi by 6, which is 30 degree, you can place as 45 degree or whichever way you want. So you will have, just pi by 2 is a better way to put in this 2 cos 2x minus 1. See, you have to put it in 2 cos 2x minus 1. Please understand, I'm not talking about cos 2x equals to half or whichever. You have to place the value in differentiation, and differentiation of sin 2x minus x is 2 cos 2x minus 1. That is where you are going to place the value. So you will see, when you place the values of these intervals, first will be negative, second will be positive, third will be negative. So this negative pi by 6 is taking you from a lower level to higher level. That is, you were at lower level, it is local minima. Plus to minus, you were higher, you have come down. That means you are at higher level, that is local maxima. So this is local minima, those are local maxima. And in order to find out the value of local minima and local maxima, what we are going to do? Sine 2 into negative pi by 6 plus pi by 6. Again, put pi by 6 here. So sine 2 into pi by 6 minus 1. What are the values? So this is, let us take this one. Sine, this will be, see, pi 2 multiplied 2 will be cancelled by 3, sine pi by 3 minus pi by 6. So you'll get root 3 by 2 minus pi by 6. Here you will get, because sine minus theta is minus sine theta, cos minus theta is plus cos theta. So you'll get a negative here. You'll get negative root 3 by 2 plus pi by 6. You can also say that it is negative of root 3 by 2 minus pi by 6. So they are the local minima and local maxima value, which is found by placing negative pi by 6 and pi by 6 in sine 2x minus x. So this is the whole scenario which I explained. Main key is you need to know trigonometry a lot, like this. So this 2x minus x, negative pi by 2 to pi by 2, this is almost similar to the question we have just completed. We have completed a question exactly like this, almost like this. So I'll give you a hint here. X into under root 1 minus x when x is greater than 0. So let us differentiate it first. And it is clear that x has to be greater than 0, and you will feel why it is given. I'm differentiating it. You can differentiate it in any way you want. First, and the best method is to use the product. So x, this is half, 1 minus x to the power minus half, and differentiation of 1 minus x will be negative 1. Under root 1 minus x will remain like that. Differentiation of x will be 1. So what do you get? This is under root 1 minus x. I'm writing it first. Here you are going to get negative x by 2. This goes in the denominator, 1 minus x to the power half, that is going to be root. Okay, let's cross multiply. So under root minus x into under root minus x will be 1 minus x, and minus x divided by 2 into under root and 1 minus x. Numerator you will get 2 minus 3x by twice of under root 1 minus. So this is the value where you will put the values for positive and negative. But in order to get the critical points, you have to place this as 0 also. So 2 under root 1 minus x. Can under root 1 minus x be 0? No. Only 2 minus 3x can be 0. And when 2 minus 3x can be 0, because 2 cannot be 0, under root 1 minus x cannot be 0. That will jeopardize our solution, because it will be divided by 0 is going to give you an infinite value. So we cannot afford that. We can just talk about 2 minus 3x, which is going to be 0. So x will give you 2 by 3. So we got only one critical point, which is 2 by 3. This is minus infinity to infinity. So now you see here 3, 6, 18. So it will be 0.6 something. 2 by 3 has certain value. Now you have to put any value which is lower than 2 by 3 and higher value than 2 by 3, and then find out the sign. I'm just saying 2 by 3 is somewhere 0.6 something. It can be any value here. So let us place 0.2 or 0.4 in the first case, and next case just place 0.8, right? Or any value which is higher than that. Or the best way is to put negative 1 and positive 1. That is also one option to make your computation easier. So when I am putting 0.4, just to be very specific about, just closer to 0.6 on the left. So 0.4 I have written. What are you going to get? See, 1.2, 2 minus 1.2 will be positive. So this is going to be positive. Coming on this, I'm saying you can place any value which is higher than 0.6. It can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3. So 2 minus 3 into 1, I'm placing 1. You cannot place 1, please understand, because it will be, denominator will be geopadai. So we'll place this 2. Under root negative is not possible, but 2 minus 3 into 2 will again give you negative. So you will definitely get a negative. Okay. Any value which is higher than 0.6, say 0.7, then you can manage, because under root 1 minus 0.7 can be managed. We don't want any negative number in the root. We don't want any number in the under root, so that the result cannot be followed or cannot be complete. So I place certain value which can be 0.8, 0.6, it's up to you. But we got a negative value. We don't worry about the number, we worry about the sign here. So when we have plus 2 minus, you were higher, you have gone to the negative point, that is you are at the maxima. Alright, so you are at maxima, and you have maxima at what value? X is 2 by 3. So 2 by 3 into under root 1 minus 2 by 3 will be the value of y of this x, which is 2 by 3. So 2 under root 3 by 9 will come. And I hope this is a very simple computation that you can go along and solve. The whole idea is to find the differentiation, put it as 0, find out the critical value, and then lower value than critical and higher, put it in the differentiation. So this is the whole explanation in front of you that you can carry forward. X cube into 2x minus 1 whole cube. Now this is quite a very straightforward differentiation, and we will use our knowledge of differentiation. I'm using the product rule. So x cube, 2x minus 1 whole cube, differentiation will be 3, 2x minus 1 whole square, and differentiation of 2x minus 1 will be 2. And 2x minus 1 whole cube will remain like that. Differentiation of x cube will be 3x. What all we can take common? We can take 2x minus 1 whole square as common. We can take 3 into x square as common. So 2x minus 1 whole square and 3x square becomes common. What do you get inside? That is just a differentiation, and this is not an explanation which you need from me, because you are now well versed with the differentiation, and these are simple calculations that you can just complete by yourself, but I'm just displaying it so that you can feel that the solution is complete. So what do we get? 3x square. 3 has no value here because we are interested in finding out the critical points. So variable will give us critical point. X square, 2x minus 1 whole square, and this is 4x minus 1. This is equal to 0. So either x can be 0, x square is 0, that is either x is 0, and 2x minus 1 is 0 when in x is half. So you'll get one more critical point, x is half. One more critical point, x equals to 1 by 4. Because 4x minus 1 equals to 0, x is equal to 1 by 4. So you got 3 critical points in here. Now just mark these critical points: 0, half, and 1 by 4. Half is 0.5, 1 by 4 is 0.25. So now you are getting 0, 0.25 and 0.5. And these are the intervals. In between you have to place certain values in the differentiation, which is 3 into x square into 2x minus 1 whole square into 4x minus 1. So I'm just saying, don't put all the values, just try to find out the sign. Solving by putting certain value will take a lot of time. I'm just saying, if you put minus 1, anything square will always be positive. So don't worry about x square and 2x minus 1 whole square. Just worry about 4x minus 1. I'm placing minus 1 here. Minus 4 minus 1 is minus 5. So I'm just ignoring negative 5. I'm just taking negative from here. That this will come as negative. Now 0 to 1 by 4, that is 0 to 0.25. Any value you can take will get negative. Any value between 0.25 and 0.5, what will give you positive? Again, half and infinity, you can put a 1 or 2, whichever you want. See, again square, don't worry about that. It will give you always positive. But if you place 1, you will get 4 minus 1, that is going to be 3. You get a positive. So this 0 point, negative to negative, there is no, this is a point of inflection. There is no local minima and maxima here, because it is, if you are increasing and decreasing, then you will get some point of increment or decrement. But at minus to minus or plus to plus, you will get the point of inflection. But when you are at 1 by 4, that is 0.25, you are going from negative to positive. That means you are at local minima. So local minima is achieved when x is equal to 1 by 4. And what is the value of local minima? Just place in the original equation. I am placing 1 by 4 in x cube into 2x minus 1 whole cube. Just replace x by 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 whole cube, 2 into 1 by 4 minus 1 whole cube. And let me tell you directly, it's negative 1 by 512. That is going to be alright. So this is whole scenario. And 2 points, you got the point of inflection, which is 0 and half. At 1 by 4, you got a local minima. Now this is x by 2 and 2 by x, and x should be greater than 0. And this is very important, because if x is equal to 0, that will be a trouble here. So x has to be greater than 0. It cannot even be equal to 0. Now let us differentiate. First process is to differentiate. X by 2 is what? 1 by 2 minus 2 by x square. So we have to place it equal to 0. When you place it equal to 0, half is equal to 2 by x square. X square is equal to 4. And when we have square, we always take the positive and negative value. X should be positive negative 2 because negative 2 square and 2 square are both same. Okay, let us place these value 2 and negative 2 on the number line. Is it possible? Tell me. Is there any problem which I'm facing? Or anything which I'm doing wrong? Yes, negative 2 I cannot place because x is greater than 0. So the only option is left to us is x equals to 2. I hope you got the idea. Negative 2 we have to ignore because x is greater than 0. Now any value which is lower than 2, just place say 1. Any value which is higher than 2, just place say 3. And try to find out the value of 1 by 2 minus 2 by x square. And I'm just saying that don't find out the value, check for the sign. So when you place any value which is lower than 2 in 1 by 2 minus 2 by x square, just say that I'm placing 1. So half is lower, 2 is higher, you'll get a negative value. Again 2 to infinity, place 3. So 1 by 2 minus 2 by say this 9. So 9 minus 4 by 18. So that is going to be a positive value. I'm not worried about the number. I'm just worried about this sign. So you'll get a positive value. So this 2 is giving you the negative to positive. That is, you have started with negative, gone up to positive. That means you were at local minima. So this local minima, again, let me tell you again because we're just finishing up. If you are at lower point going to higher, you are at local minima. What is the value of the local minima? Place it in the original equation, which is x by 2 plus 2 by x. So this x equals to 2 has to be placed here, x by 2 plus 2 by x. 2 by 2 plus 2 by 2, that is 1 plus 1, which is going. So 2 is the local minima, and fortunately or coincidentally, you got the value of y at x equals to 2 as 2. This is the solution in front of you. You can check out if anything is there. You can try it by yourself also. So this is all about this exercise. Thank you so much and take care.